So, if you've been interested in purchasing a high quality tactical flashlight, but don't want to pay the prices that a lot of the companies are charging for them, then I may have something you'll be interested in. This is the Sofirn SK1 Tactical and Duty Flashlight. If you want to hear more about it, keep watching. Before we begin, I do want to thank Sofirn for reaching out and offering to send me the SK1 Tactical Flashlight so that I could share it with you. But there is a bit of a backstory on why I accepted the flashlight from Sofirn. So I recently reviewed another smaller tactical flashlight, and that was the Workos TD07. And in the comments section of that, one of my viewers, Broam, and I'll put that across the screen, commented that great looking little flashlight, but I really wish that it came out in an 18650 battery, something a little larger with longer run times. And it wasn't, I don't think, even a week later that Sofirn reached out and offered to send me this light. And I'm here to tell you they're almost identical except for the battery itself. Now, what we're going to do is go down to the tabletop where I'll go over the key features, the physical and performance specifications for the SK1. I'll go into its modes of operation and I'll show you a comparison between that and the Workos flashlight so that you can help decide for yourself which one of these two lights you might be interested in purchasing. Now, before we focus in on the light itself, let's take a look at what else came with it. So the light did arrive in this box, and this is the SK1 model from Sofirn. Inside of the box are a few things you might expect. Of course, is the operating manual with warranty information. There is a charging cable. In this case, it is a USB Type-C PD fast charge cable, a little for faster charging. It came with a lanyard and a pair of spare O-rings. You can see I haven't taken out of the bag. And it came with not two pocket clips, but it came with a two-way pocket clip, which was attached to the light, but it also came with the finger ring holder for it. And we'll talk about that as well in a moment. And the last thing it came with installed is a 3000 milliamp hour 18650 lithium ion battery. Very quickly, we're going to go through the physical and performance specifications for the Sofirn SK1, but all the information I give you now will be in the video description for your reference. So overall length, 5.1 inches, diameter at its widest 1.18 inches, weight with the battery installed 4.7 ounces, water resistance rating of IP68, and an impact resistance of 1 meter. Now, as far as the performance specifications go, I'll tell you now, they are identical to the Workos TD07 in the lumen settings. The only difference between the two lights is the run times, obviously due to the different size batteries, but we'll go through them anyway. So to begin, at its lowest, at Moonlight, the SK1 will put out 2 lumens, which will run for 200 hours. At low, 20 lumens lasting 50 hours. At medium, 240 lumens lasting 9 hours. At high, a 700 lumen start and then switching down to 350 lumens lasting 130 minutes. And at turbo, it starts out at 1300 lumens, then switches down to 700 lumens, and it'll last for 3 minutes and then another 120 minutes on top of that. All right, this is a good time to bring the Workos TD07 flashlight into the picture so I can give you a comparison between it and the Sofirn SK1. And the reason I'm doing this is, of course, when the Sofirn SK1 arrived, I was struck by how similar these two flashlights are. The only real difference between the two of them is the battery, whereas the Sofirn has the larger, more easily available 18650 size battery. The smaller flashlight, the Workos TD07, is running the 18350 size battery. I can tell you everything else is identical, including the lumen outputs and the operation. The one other thing that is a bit different, of course, is that the Sofirn has the longer run times due to the larger battery. And I wondered about this, how they could be so similar in every way. So I looked them up on the internet to find out if there was a relationship between the two companies, and there is. Sofirn is the OEM, original equipment manufacturer, for Sofirn lights and for Workos lights. Now, Workos is a separate company, but it contracts Sofirn for the builds, and that shows goes. Not only is the operating system and almost everything else identical about it, so is the quality of the build. And these are both high quality, high value flashlights for sure. Right, let's take the smaller TD07 out of the picture and I'll show you a few of the features on this light. So like the TD07, it has a tactical button on the end of the light, and the big thing about this light, as it is with the other light, is the rotary mode switch where you can move between tactical, lock, and duty. Now it's a little better displayed than it is on the smaller light, whereas the other one uses little icons. This one actually tells you what it is. So tactical, lock, and duty. It's a small thing, but maybe if you're first learning to use this flashlight, then you could, not necessarily make an error in it, but you would learn quickly enough which one is which, and otherwise identical, as I mentioned. In fact, these are so identical, the finger ring is identical. It's actually interchangeable between the two flashlights. I'll just give you a few more close-ups. You can see also that this is a deep polished bezel inside. So this is a throwing flashlight with good distance, upwards of, I think it is 1,500 feet. So a nice throwing flashlight, very concentrated, tight beam. USB Type-C charging port here. Really, there's not a lot else to show you. Now, as far as the operation goes, you choose which you want to use. If you're going to use tactical, you can half press the button to get the full turbo effect. You can press all the way down and you'll get the strobe effect. In either case, the button doesn't lock, it bounces back out. If I move it over to lock, then I'm locked out all of the lumen settings with the exception of Moonlight, or Eco mode in this case. Yes, it is Moonlight. So if you press that, you will get the Moonlight. Great idea right there, so that you do have enough light to know what mode you're in, not enough light to accidentally blind yourself or alert somebody else to your presence when it is in the lock mode. Rotating it over to duty mode. Now, if I press it in and hold it, the Moonlight will come on, and I can just tap my way through the different lumen settings right up to turbo and then back again. Long press to turn the light off. Doesn't get any simpler than that. Again, identical to the Workos TD07. All right, let's get outside, do a few demonstrations with this light, and then we'll wrap this video up. All right, let's do a demonstration for the Sofirn SK1 tactical flashlight. And I'll start by turning it on in Moonlight mode. And I'll shine it just down in front of the camera here somewhere. Yeah, it's pretty low, of course. Bring it up to low, medium, high, and turbo. And that is just illuminating my backyard, my neighbor's backyard, and as far away as there is anything to reflect the light off of. All right, a few closing thoughts for the Sofirn SK1 tactical and duty flashlight. So you saw when we got it outside just how strong a concentrated beam it provides out at quite a great distance. At the same time, it has a very distinct floodlight around the outside, so you're not going to miss anything to either side of that concentrated beam. So it's actually a really good choice for a tactical flashlight. I quite like this. Now, in my previous review of the Workos TD07, I had said that had I still been on patrol, this is a light that I would have loved to have had, because it's something I could carry with me conveniently and would be with me all the time, especially during the day when you're not quite sure or you can't always anticipate that you'll have the need for a flashlight. Nighttime, I'd probably have a much larger flashlight with me in my vehicle, but this will always be with me on my person. Well, the same can be said for the SK1. It's just a little bit bigger only because of the battery. Otherwise, identical in size, function, operation. So I guess the choice is up to you. What would you like to have? The slightly longer run times or the slightly more compact form factor? Really, it's entirely up to you. Okay, what I'm going to do is be putting all the information I've given you on these lights, including the link to where you can take another look at the SK1, and as I mentioned, a link to my previous review of the Workos TD07. That'll be at the end of this video. But I invite you to leave any comments or questions in the comments section below. But until next time, get out and explore and take that path less traveled, because it will make all the difference. Bye for now.